First car in this list is Stout Scarab from 1930s. The Stout Scarab is an American-produced minivan from 1930 to 1940s, designed by William Bushnell Stout and manufactured by Stout Engineering Laboratories and later by Stout Motor Car Company. The Stout Scarab is credited by some as the world's first innovative minivan. The Scarab's interior space was maximized by its ponton styling, which dispensed with running boards and expanded the cabin to the full width of the car. A long wheelbase and engine placement directly over the rear axle moved the driver forward, enabling a steering wheel almost directly above the front wheels. Passengers entered through a single large common door. A flexible seating system could be easily reconfigured except for the driver's seat, which was fixed. The designer anticipated the seating in modern minivans. A small card table could be fitted with the passenger seats as needed. The innovations did not end with the car's layout and body design. In an era where almost everything on the road had rigid axles with leaf springs, the Scarab featured independent suspension using coil springs on all four corners, providing a smoother, quieter ride. The rear engine-induced weight bias coupled to the coil spring suspension and oil shock absorbers endowed the Scarab with smooth riding and easy steering on rough roads. Car in this list, Loaf Electrique. The Electric Egg car was a futuristic prototype, three-wheeled concept electric cycle car designed in 1938 and built in 1942 by industrial designer Paul Arzens. It was acquired by the Musée d'Arts et Métiers in Paris in 1993 and is currently at the Site de l'Automobile in Mulhouse in Alsace. The spherical bodywork, with a fastback rear, is inspired by interwar cycle cars and the bionic shapes of an egg. Aluminium egg-shaped body is built over a chassis formed from a Duralinox tube. The windscreen and doors are made of curved acrylic. Batteries account for most of the car's 350 kilograms. To circumvent fuel rationing during the German military administration in occupied France during World War II, Arzens used an electric motor, which was powered by 5 12-volt batteries located under the bench seat. Each battery had a capacity of 250 ampere-hours and weighed 60 kilograms. The car had a top speed of 70 kilometers per hour and a range of 100 kilometers. Car in this list is the Norman Timms Special from late 1940s. Timms is a one-of-a-kind, mid-engine, two-seater custom car built by Norman Timms. It's also known as the Buick Streamliner Special. Timms, a mechanical auto engineer from California, spent 3 years building the customized Special at home, which was inspired by 1930s auto union racers. The car has a two-piece, hand-formed aluminum body with a removable tail section, was made from 107 welded pieces of aluminum, a 1947 Buick straight-eight engine, and modified 1947 Ford suspension components. This 7 meters long car did not have any doors, hood, trunk, or roof, and was painted in maroon color with gold flake. It was never intended for production, and only one was ever built. Timms Special was capable of reaching a top speed of 190 km per hour. Car out list is ISO Isetta from early 1950s. This car originated from Italy. ISO's owner Renzo Revolta decided to build a small car for mass distribution. By 1952, a small car was designed using motorcycle engine of the ISO Moto 200 and named it Isetta. The Isetta caused a sensation when it was introduced to the motoring press in Turin in 1953. It was unlike anything seen before, small and egg-shaped with bubble-type windows. The entire front end of the car hinged outwards to allow entry. In the event of an accident, the driver and passenger were to exit through the canvas sunroof. The steering wheel and instrument panel swung out with a single door, simplifying access to the single bench seat. The seat provided reasonable comfort for 2 occupants and perhaps a small child. Behind the seat was a large parcel shelf with a spare wheel located below. Ventilation was provided by turning out the front triangle windows or opening the fabric sunroof. Isetta was powered with 236 cubic centimeters 2-stroke, split single motorcycle engine. Isetta could reach a max speed of 75 km per hour. Isetta license was acquired from ISO by different companies, and they produced the car. BMW acquired license from ISO in 1955 to 1962. Then Velam also had licensed for Isetta from 1955 to 58. Later Romy produced Isetta from 1956 to 61. Current out list is General Motors Firebird 1 from early 1950s. GM's research team developed the Firebird XP21. This was later referred to as the Firebird 1, which was essentially a jet airplane on wheels. It was the first gas turbine-powered car tested in the United States. The design is entirely impractical, with a bubble-top canopy over a single-seat cockpit, a bullet-shaped fuselage made entirely of fiberglass, short wings, and a vertical tail fin. It has a 370 horsepower Whirlfire turbo power gas turbine engine, which has 2 speeds and expels jet exhaust at some 677 degrees Celsius. The weight of the car is 1,134 kilograms. Initially, Conklin was the only person qualified to drive the car, and he tested it up to 160 kilometers per hour, but upon shifting in his second gear, the tires lost traction under the extreme engine torque, and he immediately slowed down for fear of crashing. Race car driver Maury Rose later drove the car at the Indianapolis Speedway. GM never actually intended to test the power or speed potential of the gas turbine, but merely the practical feasibility of its use. The braking system differs from standard drum systems, in that the drums are on the outside of the wheels to facilitate fast cooling, and the wings actually have aircraft-style flaps for slowing from high speed. The top speed achieved was 160 km per hour. Car in our list is Chrysler Ghia Gilda Streamline from mid-1950s. This aircraft-powered car was designed by Italian chief designer Giovanni Savinuzzi for Virgil Exner, an American chief designer of the Chrysler Group. She is named after Gilda, a character played by Rita Hayworth, an iconic American star of the 1940s and the 1946 film Gilda by Charles Vidor. Like many futuristic concept cars from the era of the supersonic jet era and the American space age of the 1950s, this streamlined modern-style concept car was designed in the shape of a rocket plane with a fastback rear and the shape of an airplane reactor with fins inspired by aeronautics. Its aerodynamics were tested in the wind tunnel of the Polytechnic of Turin. Ghia had a top speed of 225 km per hour. Car in this list is Messerschmitt KR200 from mid of 1955. The Messerschmitt KR200 is a three-wheel bubble car designed by the aircraft engineer Fritz Pfand and manufactured in German aircraft factory from 1955 to 1964. After World War, Messerschmitt turned attention from aircraft to automotive, based on Pfand's idea to produce small motor vehicles. The KR200 used same basic frame as previous one, with changes to the bodywork and an improved canopy design. The rear suspension and engine mounting were reworked, and hydraulic shock absorbers were installed at all three wheels, as well tire sizes were enlarged. In 1956, Messerschmitt sold the Regensburg works to Pfand. Pfand with brake and hub supplier Valentin, not formed Fahrzeug, UNE Maschinenbau GmbH Regensburg, to continue production of the KR200 and his other vehicles. Production of the KR200 was heavily reduced in 1962 and ceased in 1964 as sales had been dropping for a few years and the demand for basic economical transport in Germany had diminished as the German economy boomed. In 1955, in order to prove the KR200's durability, Messerschmitt prepared a KR200 to break the 24-hour speed record for three-wheeled vehicles under 250 cubic centimeters. The record car had a special single-seat low-drag body and a highly modified engine, but the suspension, steering, and braking components were stock. Throttle, brake, and clutch cables were duplicated. The record car was run on 29 to 30 August 1955 at the Hockenheimring for 24 hours and broke 22 international speed records in its class, including the 24-hour speed record, which it set at 103 km per hour, but whereas normal KR200 has 90 km per hour. Car in this list is Bruch Mopetta from mid-1950s. The Bruch Mopetta is an egg-shaped, single-seat, three-wheel automobile manufactured from 1956 to 1958 with a total production of 14 in Germany. It was the smallest in a series of microcars designed by Egon Bruch. With a single wheel at the front, the Mopetta is an open roadster with a fiberglass body, with one example having a detachable, transparent, folding hood. The Mopetta used a 50 cubic centimeters engine with a pull start and an integral 3-speed gearbox. Top speed was tested at 35 kilometers per hour, with an average fuel consumption of 40 km per liter. A Bruch Mopetta replica is available, built in the UK with a modern Honda automatic engine. Car in this list is Cadillac Cyclone from late 1950s. The Cadillac Cyclone is a concept car built in 1959 in USA. The Cyclone was never mass-produced as a production model. It currently resides within the GM Heritage Collection, one of the last cars designed by Harley Earl. The Cyclone was a testbed for futuristic styling and technology. Built on a 104 inches wheelbase chassis, it featured a front-mounted 390/3 engine, rear-mounted automatic transaxle, and an all-wheel independent suspension. Uniquely, the Cyclone's engine exhaust was ported out just ahead of the front wheels. It also featured a radar-operated collision avoidance system with the radar sensors mounted in twin nose cones on the front of the car. Of the Cyclone's stylistic features, the bubble-top canopy was the most prominent. Silver-coated for UV protection, the canopy automatically opened along with the sliding, electrically operated doors. The canopy could also be stowed in the rear compartment, where it rested on a special airbag base. The Cyclone's design was heavily inspired by the aviation and rocket designs of the 1950s. The original design of the Cyclone included larger tail fins adorned with the logo of the General Motors Air Transport section. These fins were reduced in size in 1964 and was logoed to look more like the 1963 to 64 Cadillac range. Cyclone top speed was 175 km per hour. On our list is Peel P50 from early 1960s. The Peel P50 is a three-wheeled microcar originally made from 1962 to 1965 by the Peel Engineering Company on the Isle of Man. It was listed in the 2010 Guinness World Records as the smallest production car ever made. The original model has no reverse gear, but a handle at the rear allows the very lightweight car to be maneuvered physically when required. Designed as a city car, it was advertised in the 1960s as capable of seating one adult and a shopping bag. The vehicle's only door was on its left side, and equipment included a single windscreen wiper and one headlight. The company produced 50 P50s. In 2010, Peel Engineering Limited in England reinstated manufacturing of the P50 and Trident models from its premises in Sutton and Ashfield, England. Externally, this car is very similar to the original, with the same dimensions and curb weight as the original, but with mechanical differences in the suspension, steering, and drivetrain, and a fully functioning reverse gear, ensuring they are road legal under today's rules. Production included petrol models with a 49 cubic centimeters four-stroke engine and electric models with an electric moped motor and gelled electrolyte batteries. The top speed of both cars is about 45 kilometers per hour. Car in this list is Dodge Deora from mid-1965s. The Deora is a 1965 Dodge, a 100 pickup truck that was heavily customized by Mike and Larry Alexander in Detroit for the 1967 Detroit Autorama. Harry Bentley Bradley designed the Deora and helped with the build process. After winning many awards, including the Riddler in 1967, it became the prototype for a Hot Wheels car and plastic model kit. In 1964, Harry Bentley Bradley was commissioned to design it by the Alexander brothers. The Deora is based on the compact Dodge, a 100 pickup. The back hatch of a 1960 Ford station wagon served as the windshield. It was chopped, sectioned, and channeled to create the fully functional, futuristic-looking pickup. The Slant 6 engine and 3-speed manual transmission were moved rearward 15 inches out of the cab and into the bed and covered by the hard tonneau. Entry into the gold-painted Custom is achieved by lifting up the windshield and swiveling the lower gate to enter through the front. In 1967, it was unveiled in the Alexander brothers' hometown during the Detroit Autorama, where it won 9 awards, including the Riddler Award. The name Deora came from a technically incorrect version of the Spanish word for golden. Chrysler liked the resulting truck so well that they leased it for 2 years to display with their other factory concept cars. Top speed of Deora was 145 km per hour. Car in this list is Alfa Romeo Carrebo from late 1960s. The Alfa Romeo Carrebo is a concept car first shown at the 1968 Paris Motor Show. It was designed by Marcello Gandini, working for the Bertone Design Studio. The Carrebo name is derived from the Carabidi beetles, as evoked by the car's iridescent green and orange coloring. The Carrebo was created by Bertone in just 10 weeks and featured fiberglass bodywork. It was never intended for production, but was fully functional and showcased unique features, such as its scissor doors being the first known vehicle to feature them. The Carrebo was one of the first wedge-shaped designs by Gandini, who would later go on to design cars such as the Lamborghini Countach and help set the trend of wedge-shaped supercars and concept cars in the 1970s. The prototype was built on the chassis of an Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale, featuring a mid-mounted 2.0-liter V8 engine, mated to a 6-speed Colati manual transmission. The Carrebo engine made 230 brake horsepower at 8,800 RPM and 200 Newton-meters of torque at 7,000 RPM, allowing it to be able to reach a top speed of 250 km per hour. Car in this list is Ferrari Modulo from late 1960s. The Ferrari 512S Modulo is a concept sports car designed by Paolo Martin of the Italian Carrozzeria Pininfarina. The Modulo had an extremely low and wedge-shaped body with a canopy-style glass roof that slides forward to permit entry to the cabin of the car. All four wheels are partly covered, and another special feature of the design are 24 holes in the engine cover that reveal the Ferrari V12 engine, which develops 550 horsepower to propel the Modulo to a top speed of around 354 kilometers per hour. The show car debuted at the 1970 Geneva Motor Show and was originally painted black, but was later repainted in the white. The Modulo was well received by critics and has won 22 awards for its design. The car in this list is Reliant Bond Bug from early 1970s. The Bond Bug is a small British three-wheeler with two-seat automobile, which was designed by Tom Caron of Ogle Design for Reliant Motor Company. It was built from 1970 to 1974, initially at Bond Cars Ltd factory, but subsequently at Reliance Tamworth factory. It is a wedge-shaped microcar with a lift-up canopy and side screens instead of conventional doors. In mid-1960s, Reliant Company tried making more sporty version cars, targeting on younger generation then Ogle Group sketched mini design with more wedged and round edges car. One of the car with such design was originally named Reliant Rogue. This car was never put into production, as management thought that such a strange-looking vehicle might hurt the Reliant brand identity. Following the purchase of Bond Cars Ltd., in 1969, Reliant commissioned Tom Caron of Ogle Design to alter the Reliant Rogue design. The car would then become a Bond vehicle. The Bond Bug was based on Chief Engineer John Crosthwaite's newly designed chassis and used a mixture of Reliant Regal parts and running gear, which had been designed for the to-be-later released model Reliant Robin 750. Bond Bug had a good performance, which could reach a top speed of 122 km per hour. The car in this list is Lancia Strato Zero from 1970. The Lancia Strato Zero is a Grand Tourer concept sports car from the Italian automobile manufacturers Bertone and Lancia. It was presented at the 1970 Turin Auto Show, predating the production Lancia Stratos by 3 years. The concept car was created by Marcello Gandini. They called it Strato Zero after the space-age stratosphere then in vogue at the time. In Milan, 1970, it was successfully used for marketing by Scuderia Lancia in relation with its Lancia Stratos and GT straight-aisle road car version. The concept car was created by Bertone using the chassis of a crashed Lancia Fulvia HF 1600 rally car. Its angular trapezoidal ultra-futuristic science fiction design styling is ultra-low and aerodynamically shaped, with a height of only 85 centimeters. The bodywork is made of fiberglass with a fastback rear body shape colored in original copper color scheme, and a retractable steering wheel for easier access to the cockpit fit, with a flip-open front windshield door and integrated bucket seats. The instrumentation was on a digital control screen, which was visionary at the time. The aeronautical design is inspired by the supersonic planes of the time and by competing concept cars. The Lancia Strato Zero is driven by a mid-rear mounted Lancia V4 engine from a Lancia Fulvia HF 1600 Rally, with a displacement of 1.6 liters and a power of 113 horsepower. The Lancia Stratos Zero appears in the 1988 Michael Jackson musical film Moonwalker in the Smooth Criminal section, as MJ is cornered by gangsters. MJ turns into a bulletproof car and gets away. That was a Lancia Stratos Zero. Car in this Sebring Vanguard city car from mid-1970s. The city car is a car produced from 1974 to 1977 by Sebring, Florida-based Sebring Vanguard. After being bought out by Commuter Vehicles, Sebring Vanguard produced the car up to 1979. Total of 2,300 units were city car variants produced up to 1977. City car's design is inspired from Club Car's golf cart design, and partly in response to the 1970s fuel crisis. Sebring Vanguard produced its first electric vehicle, the Vanguard Coupe, in 1974. Company founder and president Robert G. Beaumont, working with designer Jim Muir, came up with the city car, a small wedge-shaped electric vehicle. Initially, this earlier EV coupe was not an immediate success, but got success in their second attempt based on Club Car's mechanical features. The city car came in 3 models. All 3 models had a flat diagonal front, a flat roof, and a flat, nearly vertical back. Early coupes had a 2.5 horsepower motor and 36V battery pack. The second model coupes had a 3.5 horsepower motor and 48V battery pack, and some small improvements. The third model variant of the city car had an improved drivetrain with a 6 horsepower motor, and the body was changed slightly to incorporate heater inlet vents on the side of the vehicle, and some had the improved door style with better latches and permanently installed sliding windows. Bumper extensions were added in later models to meet evolving U.S. government regulatory standards. Top speeds was about 63 kilometers per hour and range of up to 64 kilometers per charge. The 17th car in this list is Corbin Sparrow from early 2000s. The Myers Motors NMG in USA, formerly the Corbin Sparrow, was a single-passenger 3-wheeled battery electric vehicle designed specifically for commuting and city driving, produced from 1999 into the early 2010s. It was initially produced by Corbin Motors and made to order after 2005 by Myers Motors. It is a personal electric vehicle. 2 models were produced: the original Jelly Bean model and then a hatchback model, which was nicknamed Pizza, but because it was designed for use by Domino's Pizza. Several Sparrows were featured in the feature films Austin Powers and Goldmember and Looper. The Sparrow is powered by a 20 kilowatts 156-volt DC or 3-phase AC electric motor and has a range of up to 64 kilometers and a top speed of 112 kilometers per hour. The 18th car in this list is Commuter's Tango from early 2000s. The Commuter Car's Tango is a prototype ultra-narrow electric sports car designed and built by Commuter Cars, an electric car company based in Spokane, Washington. Commuter Cars was founded in Spokane, Washington, by Rick Woodbury and his son Brian Woodbury in 1998. Production of the first of their line of ultra-narrow electric sports cars began with the Tango T600. The company designed a small electric car, which had planned to produce 100 cars per year from 2005. Tango was even promoted by actor George Clooney by taking first Tango Kit's delivery, as well appearing impressed with the car. He would also explain the car features to promote it. While second car found its way to Google CEO's Eric Schmidt's second floor, as a part of April Fool's Day joke. The company generated a significant amount of media interest with the sale to Clooney and delivery at Google Office. Despite this, company faced difficulty with their manufacturers in UK and was forced commuter car produce and assemble in Spokane, Washington. As the company was unable to achieve proper productivity and company was unable to ship cars and company tumbled producing only 10 cars. Unfortunately, initial media attention did not lead to a production deal. The Tango's top speed was around 190 km per hour, and a single charge range was between 90 to 120 km. The car in this list is Mia Electric. Mia Electric was a French electric car manufacturer in the 2010s. The company, based in Cerisy, France, designed and built electric vehicles made totally in France. The Mia was the company's first all-electric model on the market. Production began in June 2011, and sales to the public started in 2012. Production stopped in December 2013 due to financial problems. The short Mia is a three-seater measuring 2.8 m with 2 sliding doors and the driver's seat located in the center. Mia models comply with the European safety standards for passenger vehicles and therefore are considered highway capable. In addition to a central airbag for the driver and seats with 3-point safety belts, the standard equipment for the Mia includes an anti-lock braking system and emergency brake assist. The car has 13 horsepower electric motor with an 8 kilowatt-hour lithium iron phosphate battery pack that delivers a range of 90 kilometers and a maximum speed of 100 kilometers per hour. Production stopped in December 2013 due to financial problems. The company was put under receivership in February 2014. The Tribunal de Commerce de Neuilly placed the company in judicial liquidation in March 2014. Liquidation in March 2014. And last car in this video is Unity 1. Unity was an electric vehicle prototype by Unity Sweden, a Swedish automotive startup. The company was founded in January 2016 by a team of students and engineers as an open innovation project at Lund University under CEO Lewis Horn. The company focused on delivering a climate-neutral lightweight electric microcar with high-end digital features. Unity publicly exhibited the one-piece cockpit concept called Kepler Pod for the first time during the 2016 CeBIT event. The cockpit has been coupled with a virtual reality system to showcase the head-up display technology, which was planned to be featured in the car. German industrial conglomerate Siemens has entered into a partnership with the group in 2017 to produce their Unity two-seater electric car. The partners were planning to design a fully automated Industry 4.0 facility in Malmö, Sweden, to produce as many as 50,000 cars a year beginning in 2018. They were also considering a production facility in Adelaide, Australia, for distribution into the Asian market. The company in February 2018 showcased a two-seater at the Auto Expo in Greater Noida, India. They announced a partnership with the Delhi-based Bird Group to bring a 5-seater car to the Indian market by 2020. The company published a video of the prototype in May 2018. Unity 1 was expected to have a top speed of 120 km per hour and single charge range was expected to be 300 km. Besides high-end features in car and high hopes from young graduate engineers of Lund University, the company filed for bankruptcy in April 2022 without delivering any car to any customer.